Welcome back to another video. That's Merlin, you can hear. No, it's Carol. So on that, Carol has settled in so well. As you saw, we were bottle feeding her and Merlin. Both of them are off the bottle now successfully. So they are on creek food and obviously the grass. I'm pleased to say that they're drinking water, so they're really thriving at the minute. So I'm super pleased. She settled in fantastically. Definitely the right decision. So that's all good on that respect. Grace and I are now working in the garden. So it's late afternoon, quite late actually. We've had a heck of a lot to do this morning. All the need to stuff, getting on with the rest of the stuff that still need to, but not on the priority of, you know what it's like. This morning I've made some strawberry jam. I've got some stock bubbling away on the outdoor stove from the last of the chickens. So you'll see by now we'll have had our chicken video out that'll have shown you what we did to process our chickens, and I'll take you along and show you the bits and pieces that I've got done there on the back of that. But what I have got done is 2 lots of stock. So I think I got 14 jars, 500 jars, so the pints or thereabouts, and they're stashed away now, and I've got some more of that on the go as well. I've canned all sorts of different things, I'll show you that. And then we got our first harvest of strawberries yesterday, like proper big harvest, not just the snacking size. And I've made strawberry jam with those this morning, so I'll show you those on the dresser either now or when we go back up, we'll see. So Grace and I are going to work in this bottom plot now. It needs weeding, and I'm going to try and harvest the garlic, which look a bit naff, I have to be honest with you. So they're ready to be harvested. We've got hard neck and soft neck varieties, but they're just not looking as good as normal years. But let's have a look, because I need this ground for other stuff. There's weeds galore, all sorts of different things going on. But I've got paid help, literally have to pay her to help. No, I'm joking, she helps out loads, but I said this is above and beyond, because we're going to be doing all sorts of stuff in here. So we're going to get busy and get on with this. This is where we're going to be working now. So this is all the garlic that's gone a bit yellow. We're going to harvest all of that and see where we get to. So this is the hardneck variety, and we've actually got scapes, which I probably could have already taken, but we will be using these. They haven't started to flower. So on hardnecks you do get the scapes, which are kind of a double harvest if you like. So you use the scapes in stir fries and things like that, and then the actual bulb. So some of the leaves are starting to yellow, which is a sign that they're becoming ready to harvest. Now, not all of them. I might leave the elephant variety in, I might not, but I want to clear some of this space because I've got lots of other things that need to go in, and these aren't going to bulb up that much more, to be honest. They're a little bit naff. Anyway, we're going to harvest these now, and I've got some help off Grace, and that's Carol. Hi, Carol. Hi, darling. Right, let's get busy. So as you can see, we've had the sheep sheared, and what we've done is we had them done on something like Wednesday or whatever. It's the weekend now, and we've had the wool just up in the barn, so we're splitting that over the compost heaps. Apparently sheep wool is supposed to be really good as a suppressant to keep the weeds down, but also to keep slugs away and things. But I have read that it can just harbour slugs, so we're going to give it a try. We've not actually tried it before. We're going to put some on the compost heaps, might put some around the strawberries, might not, we'll see how we get on. Grace has just been up and kindly brought this down for me, and I've just been starting to harvest the garlic there. So we'll come back to the sheep wool in a minute, and we're going to get the rest of this garlic harvested first. Well, we've got an absolute mixed bag of results on the garlic. So some of them are a reasonable size, and when I say reasonable, not fantastic, and the others are just like absolutely pathetic. The best ones so far, the Casablanca, the Lubusha, I don't know how you say it, white, never going to bother with those again. They haven't even split the cloves. And the rest that we've got down here are some more of the soft neck varieties, and they're going to stay in a little bit longer because they're not very yellow on the leaves. But I've cleared enough space that we can at least get busy getting some more plants in, getting everything weeded, and there's some nice strawberries to be snacking on as well while we're busy. See what I managed to grow there.
Oh, wow.
Now this was full of onions, and we've taken them out. Our Grace is in the middle of finishing off because it was thick with weeds. Didn't realise how many weeds there were, to be honest. And the onions, there's a mixed bag again. So some reasonable sizes, some not so much. So we're clearing this area. We're going to leave the 2 sunflowers in, which the kids' grandparents bought for them, or grew for them even, not bought, and leaving that garlic in for now. We'll weed all around that garlic before we finish, and then this should be ready for planting. Now the problem is this ground here, all the way up to where we've been taking the garlic out, is so dry. I mean, it's just powder. So I'm going to try and get that dug over a little bit, get some brassicas planted in there, and we'll just give it a good water because it is just so dry. Well, we're 2 hours in. Hope you can hear me because it's windy and Stephen is topping the field. I'll show you all that in a minute. This is what we've got done. So this is the wool. It's so funny, when we put this down, all of the sheep came to the fence and were looking at it as if saying, what have you done to our friends? And I said, no, it's not, it's just wool. Anyway, so I've put wool all the way down there as a path instead of straw, just to suppress the weeds. Hopefully it'll keep slugs away, but we'll see. The pigs are going crazy because of this is Stephen and the kids are topping the field just to get all the docks down because it's getting a little bit too thick and the pigs are having a mad half hour. Anyway, so all of this wool is all done. We've taken all of the garlic out that was here that you've seen, and also the onions that were at the back on the other side of the sunflowers. Absolutely worst year ever for onions. Honestly, onions and garlic. I won't be putting them back down here again, but the potatoes look like they're doing absolutely fantastic. And you can see the difference as you walk along in the leaves. Wind's really getting up, I'm sorry. So really quickly, the other thing I've done with the wool is just made a pathway. Dear me. Just made a pathway, compost on one side, veg plot on the other, and then that just separates where it's supposed to be. And a load of volunteer potatoes in the compost, which I'm just leaving in case the others don't work. So what I'm doing now, while the racket's on in the background, is just weeding the carrot bed. So we've got the tomatoes, the carrots, the beets, etc., the turnips. No Swedes have germinated, so I don't know if that's a bad pack. Need to get those back in. But I'm going to get on with the rest of the carrots, and I'm going to stop talking because this might not even be working with all of the noise in the background. Well, we're back in the kitchen tonight, and I have picked up a boatload of mushrooms that are supposedly past their best before, or even their use by date, but they're absolutely perfect for me. So I'm going to get those in the dehydrator, and I'm also going to look about making mushroom broth because I saw that on one of the Simple Living Alaska old videos back in the day because I love their channel, so I rewatched some of the stuff, and I'm going to have a look into that as well. Anyway, these mushrooms are going to get processed one way or another. I've got a few in our meal for tonight, so I'm just going to do a quick stir fry on the top there, and we're going to see what the rest of the night brings because I've also got quite a few strawberries in the sink that supposedly passed their best as well, and they're going to get turned into something too, yet to be decided. But we've got lots of rhubarb in the garden, so I might do strawberry rhubarb because I showed you the strawberry jam that we did. I didn't show you actually, I made that the other day with our homegrown strawberries, so I'm really pleased about that. But I don't want anything to go to waste, and I'm going to get these mushrooms done, get something done with those strawberries, and first I think I better feed the family first, so they're all getting hungry. So the strawberries worked out to be just under 5 kilos, and some of them have got bits on that I need to chop off and some of them haven't, and that's totally fine by me. So first up, I'm going to be making some more of the jam that I've recently made, and this time there's a little bit of learning because I didn't take the scum off last time, so the bit that sits on the top, it's absolutely fine, it just doesn't look as nice in the jars as if you do that, so I'm going to make sure I do that this time. So first of all, I'm going to get the strawberries chopped up. I'll use a kilo's worth of strawberries at a time because that's what I can comfortably doing my little Dutch oven. I haven't used my big jam pan on this new oven yet, and to be honest, doing a kilo at a time is a lot more manageable. So I need 200 grams of strawberries to get started in the Dutch oven with some sugar, and they start getting mashed down, and then we'll add the rest. So we're going to use a kilo of strawberries in total. So I'm going to weigh these out. And that's the other 800 grams all just whole, so I'm going to chop those up now into bite-sized pieces. So the last lot that I did were a little bit too big. I don't like huge pieces of fruit, so I'm going to do these a little bit smaller this time. So that's a mix of granulated sugar and jam sugar going in there. And we're just going to stir that in, let it all dissolve on a gentle heat, and then bring it to a rolling boil for 8 or 9 minutes. But we're not going to increase that temperature until I'm sure all of that sugar is dissolved. Right, I'll let sugars dissolve now. So I'm just going to add in, it's 150 ml of lemon juice, so it's bottled lemon juice. This is a Pam Corbin old traditional recipe that I'm following here. I mean, strawberry jam is just equal amounts of fruit and sugar with the juice of a lemon normally. So that's pretty much the recipe that I'm following. But I've just used some jam sugar just to help get a good set. I do struggle to get the jam up to temperature sometimes, to setting point. So that's why I'm taking a little bit extra precaution with the jam sugar. So I'm going to bring this to a rolling boil, boil it for 8 or 9 minutes till it gets to 104.5 degrees C, and then get it potted up. I've got my jars sterilised already. We're in the cold room tonight, so I am busy canning, which is just out there, you can see there. So I'm canning the stock from the meat birds that we did recently. That's the last batch of stock that I've made that's going in the canner there. So this is all for the winter pantry. This is the first batch. Now, it turned out a bit of a funny colour, so I'm not sure about it, but either way, it's either good for us or it's good for the dogs, which I know you might think, oh my goodness, for the dogs, but it costs a lot of money for the dog food as well, so we're trying to produce as much as we can from a dog food point of view. But the ones that are in the canner at the moment, the stock that's in there is definitely for human consumption. It's absolutely perfect. I did a chicken stock, but also I did a mushroom stock as well from the mushrooms that I showed you. And now I'm just literally putting, there was a couple of jars that there was too many that couldn't fit in the canner. I've got 14 pints in there. So they're just going to cool off and they'll go in the fridge, and we'll get those used in the next couple of days. Everything that's in the canner will get up on these shelves or in the house. So I just thought I'd give you a really quick look around in here before I'm actually going to go and video a full plot tour. Hopefully, if the weather holds off anyway, before we settle down for the night. Not a plot tour, a small holding tour. Anyway, so this is what I'm doing at the moment. So this is the canner just coming up, just literally starting to steam or to vent. So that's going to be a little while yet. But the stock will only take, I think it's 25 minutes for pints. I'll double check. So it won't take too long once it gets going. And if we just turn around past all of the junk, this is what we've got going on in the cold room at the moment. Cold room that's not a cold room, it's actually 18 degrees in here at the minute. So this is the rhubarb wine that I've got on the go. So you can see the fruit flies still get in here, and that's why we have these lids or these caps on top of the bubblers. What are they called? You know what I mean. Anyway, so that's 2 lots of rhubarb wine on the go. This is the mushroom stock that I said, look at the colour of that. That is so dark, it's lovely. Anyway, they didn't fit in the canner, so they're just going to cool off for the night in here. And then we've just got our baskets that we take the harvest in from the garden in, extra toiletries and things like that in here. All of this in the winter will hopefully be full of cabbages and leeks and all of the things from the garden. But for now, It's just basically some of this is, well, actually that's all shop bought stuff. I'm getting a few things stocked up. I've brought some things in here from the pantry that we don't use. We don't like tonic water, etc. So you can also see just keeping in some of the shopping bags. The eggs come in here when they've been collected. And really in these cupboards, they're my canning lids. And we're just starting to stock up on things when they're on offer, different bits and pieces. So they're quite sparse at the moment because we have worn the cupboards down over the last few months from after lockdown and from after COVID. So hopefully all of these shelves very soon will all be full of home goodies. All of those jars there are the ones that they just look, it's chicken stock and it just looks a funny colour. That one's a lot lighter, but these are all really dark. Anyway, that's rendered lard of our own. We've got absolutely tons of that in the fridge as well, but it is shelf stable just on the shelf. And that's a mustard that I made, which I'm not too sure. Apparently it mellows with time. So hopefully that's true, because it wasn't that nice actually, if I'm honest. So the point of this room, I'd like to get all of this full on the back with homemade wines and just start bringing in some of the extra stores. Hopefully most of it will come from the garden. We want to be buying in as little as possible, but this room's just getting going now. We obviously did it at a time when everything was already in, really. We did have the onions and the garlic and things like that in here, but they've been and gone. On the potatoes, and that's been and gone as well. So we're hoping that we'll restock this year, but at the moment it is looking sparse of homemade goods. But it's a good little room. It's kind of kitchen size to keep all of your bits and pieces in. So right next to the canner, so when that comes up to temperature, I can be excused and I can leave that dancing away, and I can go and get busy with the rest of the things that I need to get done with that video. That hopefully, it's been so windy today, I haven't been able to get anything done outside that includes videoing and recording, because obviously it's so noisy. Anyway, this is the room that I mentioned a long time ago, and this is what it's looking like at the minute. Hopefully we'll see it fill up with lots and lots of homemade goodies. Well, the power's gone out. We're in the middle of the craziest storm. It actually doesn't look as bad on the camera, but it's the rain stopped coming down quite as heavy. But the thunder and lightning has just been crazy. I can hear it rumbling in the distance still. If you can't see it, can you hear it? Well, that was an absolutely crazy storm that we had. We have had loads of rain since then, and today it's been raining this morning, all morning. I've put the clothes out when it stopped and then it started again, so the clothes are now drying because we've actually got some sun, and I'm out here again in skin. Who knew? So it's really, really warm, but it's really, really blustery as well, so it's quite bright, hence the hat. So I'm busy out in the garden now. I've got all sorts done this morning. So I've made some strawberry cordial. I've started off some more rhubarb wine because we had about 4 kilos of the stuff in the freezer of rhubarb, and I've heard that that's really good for to make wine with, so when it's been frozen. So I've done that. Stephen's been and got some rabbits last night, so he's processing those now. So I've just been busy, so I haven't really picked the camera up. But this afternoon I've got a good few hours outside. Sat down at the minute. I've actually got the hose pipe running on the polytunnel beds, and my back's really hurting, so I thought, I know, I can sit down and supervise the watering. But yeah, I'm going to get busy out here because all of that rain that we've had over the last couple of days hopefully will have made a difference to how dry things were. So I'll be interested to see how things are doing. I've noticed even just here there's a couple of little courgettes and things that have come up that weren't there, and there's a load of rhubarb here that's ready to harvest, but the leaves are a little bit limp and I want to use the greens, the leaves as well. So I'm just going to give them all a good water and hopefully they'll pick up, and then tomorrow we can harvest them. I've got a good few ideas of what I want to do with the did I say rhubarb? I meant beetroot. And I'm going to get a load more beetroot seeds sown today because that'll be our winter crop, so that we have to harvest for over winter. That'll be for our storage as well. I'm going to supervise this hose pipe a little bit longer first though. But I tell you what, it's really, really warm in here. The polytunnel's all watered. It took some serious amount of water. It was so dry, poor things. So I think tomorrow will be a harvest day because we've got quite a few things that I want to harvest. and it's cool enough just now for me to be working in the greenhouse. So I've given everything a good water in here, though the tomatillos are in just in the same size buckets as the tomatoes, and goodness me, they are much more thirsty plants than the tomatoes. I'm going to have to start watering those twice a day, I think, because they are just so droopy and look so sorry for themselves. Everything else is really dry as well. I mean, and the tomatoes, I think it must be because of the watering. Some of them have started getting the blossom end rot, which, if you remember, I had a problem with that last year, but not all of them. And it seems to be the plum tomatoes that are doing it more than the round ones. So I'll keep an eye on that and I'll report back. But for now, I'm just going to do some potting on. We're actually going out in a little bit, so I don't want to get too into the weeds and literally and get everything done there and start getting planted outside and things like that. So if I've got time when I come back, I'll look at doing that. Otherwise, after we've done the harvest tomorrow, we'll see. But I've got work to do outside, it is my point. But for now, while it's cool enough, I'm getting the things done in the greenhouse as well. So popping and potting the peppers on. And I've got plenty done. I might not look it, but I really have. The tomatillos are picking up a little bit, so this is them. If I turn around, can you see how wilted they are? But they are picking up a little bit, believe me, that looks better. We've got little gherkins coming, so tomorrow when I do the harvest, I'm going to be fermenting those. I've decided I'm going to do a lot more fermenting, so I have been doing a fair bit. Well, that's not true. I've been doing more because I never used to do any, so, you know, from a fair bit from that point of view. So I want to be doing a fair bit and increasing that all the way through the summer. So I've got the Mason Tops fermenting kit. I got that for Christmas, and I've been playing, you know, trying it out, and it's worked for the carrots and things like that I've done, but it's time to take it a little bit more seriously now. So these gherkins will be absolutely perfect for that, and it's only salt and water that you need for it, and obviously your jars. There's no heat involved, there's no cost for preserving it. So I think that's going to be a real way forward for, you know, for what we're living with at the minute. Oops, sorry, I just poked you with a stick. Are you okay? Anyway, plenty of things. The melons have been potted on, peppers have been potted on, some tomatoes have been taken care of that weren't doing too well, that hadn't been potted on because they were kind of spares. Anyway, so plenty of good jobs done. I'm going to go and pick some raspberries and strawberries and have them with some cream, because I'm about done in really for today, and then we need to get a shower and we're off out today. So I'll pick back up with you tomorrow. Well, we didn't get back in until really late last night, and I just threw some pork chops on, and we had a really quick meal and went to bed. I slept all the way through until about 7:45, which is unheard of for me, so we were so tired. Stephen did the same. So clearly, as my nanny used to say, you must have needed it. So right now it's raining. It's been a beautiful morning. I had a few chores to do. We had somebody visiting this morning, super busy times, and then the plan is Stephen's out hunting at the moment. When we get back, or when he gets back, we were supposed to be doing a harvest of lots of fruit and things like that. We still want to do that. I'm actually going to do that on a separate video, but it's chucking it down again. So I'm just making some broccoli cheddar soup. We're doing a bit of keto at the moment. I think I said to you, we're trying to lose a bit of weight, so we've lost just over 1/2 stone so far. So feeling good about that. Needed to lose it, and we're just going to continue this for another couple of weeks. So it's no alcohol, no wine. And I've had lots and lots and lots of different thoughts about the budget, grocery budget, and all of the cost of living. I'm trying to collate those thoughts, and I'm going to do a bit of an update on that as well. But for now, I've got some broccoli soup on, as I say, broccoli cheddar soup on in the background. Need to get some shopping put away. Didn't think it was a particularly big shop, and it still came to £70, and I didn't really get the bacon, which is the only meat, as well as the ham, as you guys know, that we get, was the most expensive. And honestly, anyway, get busy with this, have the soup, and then we'll see what it's like and get outside and get harvesting. I've got lots more things to do in the greenhouse as well, so I'll show you what's going on there. But as I say, I'll do a separate video on the fruit and beetroot harvest that we've got. There's our first harvest of gherkins, from absolutely tiny to slightly chunky, and I'm going to ferment these. So this variety is a Nulka F1. So stick around for next week and you can see what we get up to with all of this gorgeous fruit. But it's been a good harvest day. I'm really pleased with it. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. It's the end of another week. I'm doing a video dedicated to what we're doing with this because I've got the beetroots to harvest tomorrow as well. So they're in the polytunnel, and I'm going to make up lots of lovely goodies with those. I'll take you along for all of that on a separate video that's just dedicated to that, as I say, because this is just the vloggy style one. Anyway, I'm off. Good night.